Well, it originated from the overnight plays last Easter. So I volunteered as a writer, turned up on the night, and I was given the task of doing a two-hander, and the prop was a metal detector. So luckily the two actors I was given were very experienced kind of Questorians, Robert Baker-Glenn and Maggie Turner. So because of the time constraints, I thought the most obvious approach is just to kind of go with the idea of a married couple. And the next kind of challenge was, how would I get a metal detector into that kind of relationship? And when I started thinking about the idea of metal detecting, it was all, I came back to the idea of loss and finding things. So from there, I kind of developed the relationship between the two of them, and also the kind of well, they've been together for about 40 years, so it's kind of how their relationship has sort of developed. And now the male character has got the onset of dementia, and how that has affected their relationship. So he's trying to sort of cling on to the past, and she's also trying to cling on to the past, but from kind of different angles. And the idea is how they kind of reconcile some of their experiences. So the metal detector was the inspiration for the story? Yeah. I mean, it has to be one of the when you do the 24-hour plays or the overnight plays, the prop has to be pivotal to the play. It can't just be something sitting in the background. So I knew that the metal detector had to be kind of front and forward in the plot, and so that's when I kind of developed this idea about kind of what is a metal detector, what does it symbolise, and to me it symbolised loss. As a writer, how valuable do you think the process of taking part in the overnight plays is? Well, for me personally, it was invaluable, because I know when I kind of the idea of writing for me, I'll just sit in front of a computer and kind of wait for inspiration to come to me, and it very rarely does. So when you do something like the overnight plays, you've got no option. You've got a kind of very limited time frame. You've got about 8 to 10 hours to write a play that's going to be performed in front of a paying public the next night. So that pressure really spurred me on, not necessarily to write something good, but to kind of just to write whatever came into my head and just go with it. And so what I've done it for the last 2 years, and it's been the same process. It's kind of, right, the first idea I've had, I've just gone with it, rather than kind of thinking about things for like 2 or 3 hours. You've just got to kind of get on with it, and I found that really kind of refreshing and liberating. You regard Dark Mondays as the next stage in the process. What are you looking for from this performance? Well, hopefully it'll go up a step from the overnight plays. Purely because the overnight plays, obviously they had a day to rehearse it, I had a day to write it, a few hours, so it's kind of it was always going to be sort of less than perfect. But I think for doing the Dark Mondays, there's a little bit more time. I've had a chance to go away and to kind of develop the script, so it's kind of the next rung up the ladder. So what I'm hoping from it is that the kind of audience will enjoy it, but also that I will be able to see bits that work really well in front of an audience, bits that don't work so well, and then hopefully I can go away and sort of tweak it and develop it further. And hopefully one day see it on stage at Questors in a fully formed production. That would be amazing, yeah. What do you think of the idea of Dark Mondays? I think it's a wonderful idea, because it's I mean, the Questors is such an amazing space, and so there's so many resources here that I think it's it'd be a bit of a waste to have a kind of night where nothing's been performed. So I think it's sort of it also opens up the idea for writers, directors and actors to develop something. So it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be polished and rehearsed. It's just something that kind of, you've worked on for just a couple of weeks and you can kind of go and do it. So I think particularly for people with less experience of any of those crafts, I think it's an amazing experience.